eGundo.com.
Rob, thank you for having us. Really
Happy to have you here.
And a beer.
It's always good to start with the beer.
It is. So as you know, through eGundo, we do what we call Good in Gundo. It's where we recognize people, businesses, events in town that make El Segundo good. And El Segundo Brewing Company is just about as good as it gets, having the name El Segundo in it, and then also creating an environment for people to gather in town, and then also just a great example of entrepreneurship. And we just wanted to learn more about how did you get to this point, right? A few bits about your involvement in El Segundo, but what we really want to know is one day you decided that you'd have a beer company. Like, how did you get to this point?
It kind of evolved over time. I've always been a fan of beer ever since college, even, and once I went and got a real job out of school and standard kind of corporate job, it just really wasn't my thing, and I kind of fell backwards into a homebrew kit and started making beer at home.
Really?
And I was doing that for about 8 or 9 years before I pulled the trigger on this. And just a whole series of events kind of lined up. I got accepted to the Professional Brewers Program at UC Davis. So I basically got to a point career-wise where I was not doing what I was doing. So either shut up or do something about it now. So I took a career derailing left-hand turn and bought myself a bunch of free time to put my plan together, and went to UC Davis, and I left my prior job in November of 2010 and opened up El Segundo.
That's great. So let's talk about the name.
Sure.
Right? Obviously, you brought a lot of attention to El Segundo. We had a song, Left My Wallet in El Segundo,
right,
that made it a bit popular, but now we have a very good beer in El Segundo. Was it always going to be, when you envisioned this idea, El Segundo Brewing Company?
It was always going to be El Segundo Brewing Company. We toyed with the idea of Blue House because our house in town is a Blue House, and that's kind of what we started playing around with when I was home brewing, and we just called it Blue House Brewing. That was really short-lived, but it really was going to be El Segundo. My wife and I are both born here. My parents still live here. Our kids go to school here. We're very into the community here, and so it was really pretty easy just putting that El Segundo stamp on it, because that's really what it's about. It's a community thing, and it is El Segundo.
So you drew a parallel between the community aspect of brewing and the actual location you were in.
Right.
Got it. So I imagine that it's not just you brewing.
No.
You making beer. There's a team.
You're hearing all the noise right now.
So tell me more about, what does it take to operate?
Wow. So, it really depends on what you're doing. In the early days, it was really just me brewing with some help from my dad and a friend. And I was brewing, cleaning tanks, filling kegs, doing everything with Tom Kelly, who's my director of sales, part-time doing sales. And that was kind of how it went for the first couple of years. And fast forward now, we have 28 people. We have 5 brew staff who are doing all the heavy lifting these days. So it's kind of funny, the irony of not being happy with my desk job in finance. You come full circle where I was doing all the work, and now my days, again, I'm in front of a computer doing forecasting and cost modeling, and I'm still very involved on the beer side as far as recipe development and the quality and direction, but I'm not hovering over a brew kettle, 10 hours a day like I was the first few years. I have a really rock star crew doing that for me right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't, I think pretty much everybody in town knows that we have this amazing beer that's being created in El Segundo. I actually didn't know this taproom area. Do you refer to it as a taproom?
It's a taproom, yeah.
And then what are the hours? I've seen this place during campaigning for city council and a few others. It seems like a really great place for people to get together and have a good beer.
It's a great community gathering place, especially during the week. Our customer base is very local, and we have people from the city, people I've known for a long time, and just regulars that come around all the time. So I've gotten to know more people through the taproom than I did, growing up in El Segundo. It's really amazing.
That's powerful.
So We're open on regular weekdays. We open at 5 to 9. Thursdays 4 because we got word from our friends at Chevron when they changed their hours. They want us to be open when they got out. So Thursdays we open at 4 now. Fridays we're open at 2, and then Saturdays and Sundays we're open at noon.
Got it. I imagine that, as an entrepreneur myself, the hard work that goes into creating something, seeing that grow, providing jobs, and seeing that team have a positive impact on the community has got to be rewarding. After a long day of working, you come in, you see people having a good time.
It's amazing. I mean, there's still those moments like 7 years in when I come in and Taproom's full. I'm like, who are these people drinking my beer? This is crazy. It blows my mind. But it's very fulfilling, and it's a great way to be making a living. My worst day at work, I'm here making beer. It's great.
Yeah, that's rough. So let's talk about the growth. It seems like just myself, I've seen all of a sudden it's at Whole Foods. Obviously, you're in local restaurants. So you have a lot of really good supporters, which I'm sure means a lot to you. But what do you attribute? Is it just the beer's that good?
I think it's a lot of things. I think when we opened up, there was only 5 independent breweries in LA. So when we opened up, we were number 6, and being one of just 6 shows in town, everybody who was into beer got to know us. So our name got known really quick, and we were also able to secure a lot of tap handles, a lot of shelf space fairly early because there just wasn't a whole lot else in town. So we got that initial shot due to timing, but then after that, a lot of it really does come back to quality too. I mean, we focus so much on quality. We never let beer with flaws go out. If we identify any issues with beer, it's not going anywhere. My brewing staff are professionally trained. I've sent them to school also, so it's not just throwing stuff in the kettle. It is the quality side of things, the testing, the measuring, to ensure repeatability, investing in tools to allow for testing. And then on the sales side, I mentioned Tom Kelly, who is amazing. With a really small sales staff, we still sell, at least as in 2017, we were the biggest independent brewery in LA still, which we have been since like our second year.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And so it's a combination of all sides. Comes back to quality and an amazing sales team.
That's great. Over the years, I've seen references on social media that you competed in competitions.
Sure.
Have those met your expectations?
I don't never really even had expectations. It was we have done a lot of Great American Beer Festival competitions, LA International, San Diego International, and things of that nature. I never really planned on winning very, very much, and so we didn't put a lot of stock in it. When it happens, it's pretty nice though. The ones that I'm really particularly proud of are the Bistro Double IPA Fest up in Hayward that they do every year. And we've had really good success. You can see some of the medals up on the wall, but that Great American Beer Festival is the biggest one in the country. However, for our style of beer, which is West Coast IPA, that Bistro Festival is really the biggest thing. And to take medals year after year there has been really rewarding. Kind of, validation of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's great. So, 10 years from now, where is Segundo Brewing Company?
As far as production, I think we're kind of where we're going to be. My mission is to open more off-site tap rooms so we can have this brewery tap room environment, sell our beer across the counter directly to the customers. Not so much focus on going wider in distribution. That's just due to a number of factors, but mainly the market is so crowded with breweries. When we opened up, we were like brewery number 2,400 in the country, and now there's almost 6,000, I believe. Wow. So we were brewery 1,400, so it's grown like 3 times. So it's just much more crowd out there. The return isn't necessarily there in distribution, so I'm really just looking to open off-site tap rooms and serve beer directly to people that want to drink it.
I gotta ask, it just clicked. You grew up in a small town.
Yep.
you're in essence kind of keeping things small and more intimate.
It's interesting, yeah.
What impact do you think growing up in El Segundo has had on you forming this business?
Oh, I think it's probably, I don't feel like we need to really own the world. I want to do a quality job. I definitely believe in giving back to the community. I buy into it. But really, keep it real. I mean, the brewery, we are a small brewery in an industrial town on the beach. And, so we embrace that, and that's who we try to be.
So let's talk about the community,
Sure.
El Segundo. You give back quite a lot.
Yeah.
What is, your involvement in the community, I imagine, is important.
Absolutely.
Since you grew up here.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about how you've used what you've created to help the community.
So every opportunity we get, particularly for schools and things of that nature, Ed Foundation, we do all the beer for their events. And it's pretty much to a point where they don't even have to ask anymore. But it's, it's about putting your money where your mouth is. This is our home. I absolutely believe in giving back. My kids go to school here. We grew up here, and investing back into it, it means a lot. And it's beyond just the education side of it too. Youth sports. We sponsor baseball. We sponsor softball. We sponsor high school athletic teams. We sponsored the music club for some stuff over the years, and it's just, it is just about giving back.
That's great. Do you think there's anything that the people of El Segundo may not know about either yourself or the brewery that?
I still get people coming by once in a while saying, "There's a brewery in El Segundo."
Yeah.
Well, no, we're pretty open with what we do. I don't think I have any real secrets that people don't know about. I don't know. We're just guys that like to make beer, that's all.
Well, let me ask you this in closing. What for you is the feeling that you'd like people of El Segundo to have when they come and leave the tap room or have one of your beers? What is it that makes you do what you do?
I want them to walk away with a sense of pride and, a sense of value too, that they're getting a good quality product. They're knowing where their money is going to an independent, family-owned company, and kind of keep it in this little circle.
Well, I appreciate your time today. You are good and Gundo.
Cheers. Thanks, Drew.
eGundo.com.